My sister left me with a drunk stranger, then screamed that I ruined her bachelorette after he tried to corner me. I was the maid of honor. Now I'm just her punching bag. I knew things were off when they laughed about leaving me with the creeper. We were standing outside the bar. My sister and her friend were already irritated. I could see it in their eyes, like they were humoring me with their presence. I told them they could head back to the Airbnb if they weren't feeling it, and I'd hang out a bit longer. I thought I was being respectful, independent. I didn't want to ruin their mood any more than I already had by existing. They exchanged a look. I didn't understand it then. I do now. My sister leaned toward a man we'd met earlier. Older, sweaty, eyes like he'd been drinking since the Nixon administration, and whispered something. He nodded. When I asked what was going on, she said, "He'll make sure you're okay." They left. They left me with him. I didn't make a scene. I was used to being the weird sister, the extra. I figured if I played it cool, maybe I could salvage some joy out of this trip I'd been so desperate to make perfect. I stayed out. I met people, danced. I was happy in a pathetic kind of way, until it was time to go. That's when the older guy, her designated babysitter, cornered me. Told me he had a better idea for how I should end the night. I laughed it off. Tried to move. He didn't. Another man, one I'd been chatting with earlier, a younger guy, polite, not pushy, stepped between us. Said, "She's good." Tried to de-escalate. The older man shoved him, then swung. The respectful guy hit back. It got ugly. I was too drunk to process it in real time. I just remember screaming. Then silence. Then blood on someone's shirt and not mine. The respectful guy pulled me aside and said he'd get me a safe ride. I remember clutching the seatbelt of his car like it was a lifeline. I got back to the Airbnb around 2 a.m. Quiet. Dark. I took off my heels, crept into the spare room, and passed out. When I woke up the next morning, everything was different. My sister was standing above me with her friend. They were already screaming. I hadn't even opened my mouth yet. She called me selfish. Said I'd ruined the trip. Her friend called me a bimbo. Said I was disgusting. I started to argue back, tried to defend myself. That's when my sister grabbed my face, dug her nails into my jaw, then slapped me. I froze. Didn't cry. Just pushed her back and asked, "What the hell is wrong with you?" That's when the friend really let loose. She said I was the reason our parents left. That no one in my life actually loved me. That my boyfriend, who took a summer internship 2 states away, was just trying to escape me. She said my dog hated me. She said I was unlovable. They said these things while smiling, like they were enjoying it. I locked myself in the bathroom and tried to breathe. But the yelling didn't stop. They started pounding on the door. I told them I needed space, and the friend screamed, "You don't get space. You don't get to act like the victim." Then she broke the door handle. I sat against the tub, head between my knees, trying to breathe without passing out. Eventually, they stopped. I packed my things. Didn't say another word. The drive home was 6 hours. For at least 3 of those, they trashed me in the front seat like I wasn't there. Called me a liability. Problem. My sister laughed when her friend said, "Good luck getting anyone to marry that mess." I sat in the back seat with my headphones in, shaking. The worst part? I was the maid of honor, and I still am. The wedding is in a month and a half, and I don't know what to do. I don't feel safe around my sister anymore. I don't trust her. I don't trust her friend. I don't want to stand next to her and pretend this didn't happen. But the alternative is worse, being cut out, being replaced, losing what little family I have left. I spent money I didn't have to make this trip work. I worked overtime, paid for decorations, gifts, split the Airbnb, got a sitter for my dog, who has behavioral issues that cost a fortune to manage. I did everything right, and somehow I ended up the villain. I know I shouldn't have stayed out alone. I know I shouldn't have trusted that guy would leave me alone. I'm not stupid, but nothing I did justifies what they did after. And now I don't know if I'm being too emotional, or not emotional enough. I keep hearing her voice. Everyone in your life leaves you. Ever wonder why? I'm scared I do know why. And it's me. Date 1. It's been 5 days since the Bachelorette trip, and I still can't sleep through the night. I've replayed everything in my head so many times. I feel like I'm rotting in it. That morning. The screaming, the slap, her face so close to mine I could see my own mascara smudges in her eyes, and her friend, pacing behind her, circling like a vulture. I don't think I've ever been more frightened of 2 people in my life. But the worst part? She hasn't apologized. Not once. Not for hitting me. Not for the screaming. Not for telling her friend personal things I trusted her with. Not for leaving me alone in a strange town with a man who wouldn't take no for an answer. She's texted twice. The first one was a photo of her wedding shoes. Finally found the ones. With a bunch of emojis. The second one just said, "We'll need to go over the seating chart soon." Nothing else. No acknowledgement. Like the trip never happened. Like I never cried for 6 hours on the way home. Clutching the door handle. Afraid to ask them to stop at a gas station in case it triggered another screaming match. I asked my boyfriend if he could come with me to the wedding. I hadn't invited him originally. He's been working out of state and it didn't make sense financially. But now I feel like I need an ally. Just someone there who doesn't hate me. He said he'll try, but he doesn't know if he can get the time off. That sent me spiraling. Because if he can't come, then it's just me. And I don't know if I can survive another weekend with him. I spoke to my therapist today, first appointment since I got back. I told her everything. About the slap. About the things they said. She didn't flinch. Just nodded slowly and asked, "Do you feel safe in that relationship?" I said no. She asked if I felt like I owed my sister anything. And I told her the truth. I do. I owe her everything. She was the one who got me out of our parents' house. When they divorced and things got really bad, she took me in. She let me live with her during my last year of high school. She helped me file for FAFSA. She bought me pads when I was too embarrassed to ask. She was the only one who stayed when everyone else gave up on me. That's why this hurts so much. Because I don't understand how someone who once saved me can also be the person who stood by while her friend called me worthless. And then hit me when I tried to defend myself. I thought maybe she was lashing out because she's stressed. Weddings do that to people. Maybe she was just trying to keep the trip together and I made things harder by staying out. But if I'm being honest with myself, it didn't start on that trip. It started months ago. Little things. Snide comments about my clothes. Jokes about how I date below my station. Eye rolls when I talked about work. Every time I mentioned money, she'd go cold. Like I was reminding her that I wasn't in her world anymore. Her friends started texting me on her behalf. Can you believe that? Like I was too toxic to talk to directly. She said I overreacted to a minor disagreement. I still have the screenshot. You let trauma make you the center of every story. That one punched me in the gut. I've been through therapy. I've worked so hard to not be that person. The one who makes everything about themselves. I never wanted to be that. I just wanted to be included, loved, safe. Now I feel like I'm being gaslit out of my own reality. I asked my sister point blank if she thought what happened was okay. She replied with, "Let's just focus on the wedding. Nothing else." I told her I'd think about it. The truth is, I don't know if I can be in that wedding anymore. I want to stand beside my sister. I want to believe this was a one-off, a bad moment, an emotional snap. But deep down, I know something's changed between us. Something might be broken for good. And I'm scared of what will happen if I say no. Scared I'll lose her forever. Scared I'll lose the last thread of family I have left. But more than that, I'm scared I'll go, and she'll hit me again. And I'll let her, because I'm too afraid to be alone. Update 2. The dress came in the mail today. Maid of honor. Pale lavender, silk, floor length. The kind of color that only looks good if you're smiling. I held it up in the mirror, and something about it made my throat close. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stared at my own reflection until my face stopped feeling like mine. I didn't order the dress. My sister did. She used my measurements from a form I filled out months ago. Back when we still talked every day. Back when I still felt like I belonged to her. The note inside the box said, "Can't wait to see you in this Purple Heart." I haven't responded to her last 3 texts. She hasn't noticed. Or she has, and she's pretending not to. Her friend texted me again last night. The one who screamed outside the Airbnb bathroom door. The one who told me I was the reason everyone in your life eventually leaves. She sent a video. I shouldn't have watched it. It was from the night of the bar, the final night. Someone filmed part of my interaction with the guy who intervened when the creepy man followed me. It's blurry, shaky, but you can hear my voice. I'm laughing, flirting, maybe drunk. Then the scuffle happens. Screams. Me yelling, "Stop it." The video cuts off. She captioned it. "Just so you remember who the real threat was." I blocked her number, but I couldn't stop hearing her voice in my head. That tone. Like she was warning me. Like she was telling me I'd brought everything on myself. The part that haunts me isn't the slap, or the door handle, or even the yelling. It's how fast they turned. 1 second I was her sister. The next I was prey. I've tried talking to my boyfriend more. He's been busy with work, but I finally got him on a long call last night. I told him everything I hadn't shared before. The friends' texts, the dress, the panic attacks. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "You need to decide if this is still a relationship or just a habit. At first I thought he meant us. Panicked. But he meant her. My sister. He told me he'd seen it for a while, how she talks over me, how I get quieter around her. How her approval seems to be the currency I spend myself into debt for. You're still trying to earn a kind of love she already decided you don't deserve, he said. And that wrecked me, because he's right. But what he doesn't understand, what no one really understands, is that she was all I had. When our parents stopped calling. When family holidays became Facebook memories I wasn't tagged in. When I dropped out of school and thought I'd never be anything. She was there. And now she's the one holding the knife. I tried to back out. I did. I sent her a long message. Said I wasn't in a good place. That I was triggered. Still reeling from what happened. That I needed time. She replied in under a minute. Don't do this. Don't make my wedding about you. She told me she'd already paid for the photographer, the planner, the seating chart was final. That I owed her this. That one bad night doesn't erase a lifetime of sisterhood. Then she said the line that broke me. I took care of you when no one else would. The least you can do is show up for me on the most important day of my life. It was the least you can do part that made me nauseous. Because she's not asking me to show up. She's asking me to forget, to pretend, to smile for the camera, even if my teeth are clenched so hard I bleed. There's more. I haven't told anyone this. Not even my therapist. But 2 nights ago, someone left a package at my door. No postage. Just a small box with no return address. Inside was a flash drive. It had video files. 3 of them. The first was the Airbnb kitchen. My sister and her friend were sitting at the counter, drinking, talking about me. It was recorded from someone's phone, hidden, probably one of them. They were laughing. My sister said, "She's not going to make it to the wedding. She's gonna crumble before then." The friend replied, "Good. Her speech would have been a train wreck anyway. Remember when she tried to talk at your birthday party and almost cried?" They both laughed. My sister added, "I don't know why I even made her maid of honor. Honestly, it should have been you." The second video was the car ride home. More laughing. They didn't know they were being recorded. My name came up again. My sister said, "If she tells anyone what happened, I'll just say she had a breakdown. Who are they gonna believe? She's already the crazy one." The third video? I can't even describe it. It was the friend. Alone. Looking into the camera. She says my full name. My address. My dog's name. Then she smiles. And says, "You should be more careful who you make enemies out of." That's it. That's the whole video. I don't know who sent it. I don't know why. But I haven't slept since. The wedding is in 27 days. And I think something terrible is going to happen. Update 3. I wore the dress. I stood there, beside her, smiling for the photos like nothing had happened. Like the last month hadn't been a slow-motion car crash where I watched myself die in pieces. Quietly, politely, one missed boundary at a time. The morning of the wedding, I woke up in a hotel room paid for by my boyfriend. He'd managed to take the weekend off. He said he wanted to support me, but I think he was afraid I wouldn't come back from this one. We sat in silence while I curled my hair. I asked him what he would do if I walked away, if I bailed on the ceremony and let it all burn down. He said, "I'd drive. You'd cry. And then we'd build a new story." But I didn't walk. I showed up at the bridal suite like a good sister. My sister barely looked at me. Her friend was already there, sipping champagne. No apology. No acknowledgement. Just that same look. Like I was a dress rehearsal mistake that somehow made it to opening night. The makeup artist asked if I wanted a touch-up for my bruised jaw. I lied. Said I tripped on the dog's leash. No one asked more questions. During photos, my sister made me stand slightly off to the side. When we lined up for the procession, she whispered, "Don't cry. You always ruin things when you cry." The ceremony was perfect. Flawless, even. The flowers. The music. The vows she didn't write herself but read like poetry anyway. Everyone clapped. Everyone smiled. The cameras clicked like a metronome. And then, the reception. That's when everything finally fell apart. It started during the toasts. Her friend went first. Talked about how some friendships outlast even family bonds. Looked directly at me when she said it. Then it was my turn. I stepped up to the mic, hands shaking. The room was packed. Every table a sea of her people. Co-workers, extended family. Her college friends with matching pastel nails and forced laughter. I didn't plan a speech. I didn't write anything down. I just stood there and let the silence get awkward. Then I said, "I almost didn't come tonight." You could hear the whole room inhale at once. "I had reasons," I continued. "But I showed up because my sister asked me to. And that's what I've always done." I looked straight at her. Her face was a perfect frozen smile. Not quite panic. Not yet. "She's done a lot for me," took me in, gave me space when no one else would. And I'll always be grateful for that. Pause. But I want to say something to the people in this room who only know her from Instagram captions and polite holiday dinners. A few heads tilted. Her friend stiffened. I want you to know that grace isn't just pretty lighting and well-posed moments. Grace is how you treat people when no one's filming, when no one's clapping. I took a breath. And sometimes, the person who looks like the hero in all the photos isn't. The room went so quiet I could hear someone coughing in the back. I'm not telling this story tonight, I said. This isn't the night for it. But there is a story. And when I do tell it, it won't be filtered through flowers and flashbulbs. Then I raised my glass. To the happy couple. I hope marriage teaches you what loyalty actually means. I sat down. The DJ started playing music within seconds. Probably a prearranged cue. I wouldn't be surprised. She always liked her narratives neat. But the damage was done. People looked at her differently. And me differently. You could feel the shift. Like a room that realizes the wallpaper's hiding mold. Her friend came up to me 15 minutes later and hissed in my ear. You're dead. I smiled. Tell that to the flash drive, I said. Her face went bloodless. Because that's the part one haven't told you yet. I found out who left the flash drive. It was her ex. Not the groom, another one. One she dated before college, who she ghosted after she borrowed $5,000 and blocked him. Turns out he'd been collecting stories. Quietly, patiently. He'd reached out to me on a burner email after my last update. Said he recognized the signs. Said he'd seen what she does to people who stop orbiting her. The videos? Just a taste. There's more. Screenshots. Audio. Even a police report she filed under a fake name after an ex threatened to sue her. I haven't done anything with it yet, but her friend knows what's on it. And that's enough. The reception ended in a whimper. The newlyweds left early. I watched from a distance as my sister hugged guests with robotic precision. Eyes never meeting mine again. My boyfriend and I drove home in silence. Halfway there, I finally cried. Not for the things that were done to me, but for the version of me that thought she'd ever be loved by her. It's been 4 days. She hasn't contacted me. Not a single message. But today I got a delivery. No return address. Inside was a wedding favor from the reception. Tied with ribbon. The tag read, "Thank you for being part of our story." And taped to the back, a single AirPod. Mine. The one I lost during the fight. That's the part that keeps me up now. That she held onto it. That she waited until after the wedding to return it. That she wanted me to know. She still has pieces of me. And she's keeping them. Just in case. 7 months later. She's pregnant. That's the update, I guess. She posted the ultrasound yesterday. 11 weeks along. Black and white blob of a thing captioned with, "The best chapter yet 2 hearts?" And 37 comments from people who don't know what it's like to wake up with phantom bruises. Her friend, yes, that one, is the godmother. No one unfollowed me after the wedding. They just stopped liking my posts. Quiet condemnation. Polite digital distance. Like grief in a nice dress. The flash drive still lives in a drawer under my bed. I haven't touched it. I haven't posted it. Haven't leaked anything. Not because I forgave, but because silence is the sharpest knife. Every so often, I get a text from an unknown number. Blocked, changed, reblocked. Most are just, hey. Some are worse. Screenshots of old photos. My dog in the backyard. My childhood journal open to a torn-out page I thought I'd burned. I moved. Didn't tell anyone but my boyfriend. Different city. New job. Different name on the mailbox. But sometimes I still wake up at 3:12 a.m. convinced I heard the bathroom door creak. I've replaced the lock 3 times. My boyfriend says I should delete the videos. That keeping them is poisoning me. He's right. But poison has a taste now. And I like remembering. I like knowing I still hold the trigger. I like knowing she knows that. That every time she clicks post, she has to wonder what I might do next. That kind of power? It's colder than forgiveness. Quieter than revenge. But it lasts longer. Sometimes I think about sending the flash drive to the baby. Not now. Years from now. Taped to a birthday card that says, "Before you believe anything, watch this." I won't do it. Probably. But the thought keeps me company. The way she used to. I'm not angry anymore. Just patient. Let the baby grow. Let her get comfortable. Let her forget the bruises she left on my throat. I'll be here, just outside the frame. Smiling. Like she taught me.